Hi, we are on 8.4b. 8.4b talks about vertical motion, throwing something. So I'm going to be throwing something from a certain height, even if it's just my shoulder, up into the air, and then it's going to land on the ground, right? This is going to be a negative downward parabola, so for sure it's got the negative in front. And here's the formula. This is the velocity in feet per second. The h is the initial height where I throw it from. Not even where, how high. How high am I when I throw it? So, first off, I have a negative 16t squared plus 12t plus 8. Can somebody tell me from my formula to this, what are the new numbers that I just plugged in? 12. What's 12 stand for? 12 feet slash SEC. Feet per second. That's how you write feet per second. FT slash SEC. What is the initial height? 8. 8 feet off the ground. So all I'm asking in this question is, what does the 12 stand for? What does the 8 stand for? The 16 will always be there. That is a part of the speed equation. I'm throwing it up. How long will it take to hit the ground? That's what T stands for, which, by the way, is important, right? So, a diver jumps off a high platform at an initial vertical velocity. There's my V. Velocity, 12 feet per second. I'm sorry, 16 feet per second. So underline 16. What quadratic function represents the height of the diver after t seconds? So we don't know how long it took the diver. But look at the picture. How high did the diver start? How high off the ground was the diver? 30 feet. So my V is 16. My H at the end is 30. Can you please write this formula, but plug in V and plug in H with my new values? Plug in V and plug in H on your own. Start off with negative 16t squared, if you have to, and then plug in 16 and plug in 8. All right. Jonathan, what did you write? Well, go ahead. Here's the formula. V is 16, H is 30. Go ahead and write it. What do you got? Jonathan. So this formula up here is what we're using. But instead of V, I'm substituting in a number. Instead of H, I'm substituting in a number. Damien, what'd you get? 30 is for H. What's the formula?
30 and T.
The HT. This just means the this is not part of the formula. This is like saying Y equals. So maybe I wasn't clear. We're plugging into this formula right here. See where my pen is? I was given the velocity and I was given the initial height. So I'm not plugging in anything for the H of T. That's just always there. Alice, what'd you get? Okay, this is 3 for 3. So I'll explain it again. Maybe you should listen this time. This formula tells us how long it would take for an object to hit the ground. I have to know the velocity, the V. Here it is. It's 16. I have to know the initial height. Where did I throw it from? That's H. Oh, it's 30 because the problem told us it's 30. So I'm going to use this formula. I'm going to write this exact formula. Roslyn, what'd you get?
I got -16 squared plus 16b plus 30.
She is right. Does anybody agree with her? Yeah? Okay. Those of you that didn't have it, the 3 of you. Yes, sir. The negative 16t squared is part of just the formula for throwing a parabola involving speed. The negative 16 will always be there. So that's something that has to be in your equation every single time. The negative 16 in front, always has to be there.
Why is it be in front of the 16 instead of the t in the middle?
Because I was told this was also 16. It was just a coincidence. The velocity of 16 feet per second velocity, the diver jumped off of a 30-foot high diving board. Yeah.
I think she's talking about how in the example it's just 12t and in your equation it's 16v.
Oh, this is a whole other example.
Yes, but
So the
equation's
12,
formatting.
this 12 just was for this example, and it's going to be a different number every time because my speed's going to be different.
We're talking about the letters, the vt versus the t.
Okay,
Yes.
VT,
No, because you put 16vt.
this is a plus sign.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let me curve, or I have to curve my T's. It's a plus sign. Negative 16t squared plus 16v plus 30. Is that better?
Yeah.
No, that's what she's saying. When you're replacing the velocity, you need to lose the v and keep the t.
Of course I do. Oh my gosh. Okay. Negative 16t squared plus 16t plus 30. Whoa. That was a huge oversight on my problem. All right. Do not put the v because we are replacing v.
So you always put the t in the middle?
Well, this is time. Yeah. That's part of the formula up here. I replaced v instead. Thank you for pointing that out, ladies. That was really bad on me. All right. So I'm just told the speed, and I'm told how high off the ground, and I'm plugging in values. That's all I'm doing. Okay, let's practice another one. This question relates to the diver. How many feet above the platform will the diver be at the highest point? That's right here. What's this? So back at the picture, this spot is my vertex, right? Yeah, that's my vertex. Over something, up something. So what I have to do is I'm going to use my formula. And I need to find the vertex. X equals negative b over 2a. I did it again. Wow. All right, I need to focus a little better, don't I? So, my A is negative 16. My B is positive 16. My C is 30. So I need to know my vertex, because the vertex is the very top of the parabola. It's the top where the curve happens. So I'm going to do vertex, x equals negative b, negative 16 over 2 times a. Negative b over 2a. This is how to find the vertex of a quadratic. Negative 16 over what? No, oh, thank you. What is it? Negative 16 over negative 32, which is 1/2. So I've got part of my vertex. Over 1/2, up, I don't know. So plug in 1/2 for x. Negative 16 times 1/2 squared plus 16 times 1/2 plus 30. I am plugging in 1/2 for x, which is the same thing as my t, my unknown. Substitute the t value, make it 1/2. Negative 16 times 1/4. Remember, you have to do the exponents first. What is 16 times 1/2? What's 1/2 of 16? 8. Okay. So 16 times 1/4, like 16 cut into fourths. 16 divided by 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. Negative 4. Negative 16 times 1/4 is negative 4. Plus 8 plus 30. What'd you get? 34. So the swimmer didn't get very far off the platform, because if you think about a diving board, you're diving and immediately you go up and you start making your curve with your body. So the vertex is really close, because back here, 1/2 34, 1/2 comma 34, it's over just a 1/2 foot, but up 34 feet. It's 34 feet high off the ground. She started at 30 feet, and then he made it, the very top of his curve of his body was 34 feet. So that's what the vertex stands for, how high the top of the curve is. So the answer to the question is, how many feet above the pool will the diver be at the highest point? He will be 34 feet. What? From the pool. Okay, the vertex tells us how high the object gets. Whether it's a ball, whether it's a person, whatever it is that you're throwing. So our next problems, we did our 2 samples. We're going to go through the homework. We're going to do it together. And then tomorrow we do a practice day on this. Make sure I'm on track.
When's your test be?
It's on the thing next week. Wednesday next week. It's on the stamp sheet. All right. Vertical motion model. So here's the basics again. All right, now an error analysis problem means that something went wrong. Okay. Chen uses the height of an object, negative 16t squared plus 6t plus 16, to determine the height of a ball t seconds after it's thrown. So t means time. Chen says that the initial velocity is 16 feet and that the initial height is 6. Describe the error that Chen made. So look at the formula and then look what Chen says. The initial velocity is 16, the height is 6. What's the mistake? Ashley.
What's it called? It was switched around. 16 was supposed to be in the middle and 16.
Okay, so here's the deal. Chen, it should be negative 16t squared plus 16t plus 6. So he mixed up the velocity and the height. Okay? He mixed up the numbers. The velocity and the height. Velo. I'll just put velo. Velocity. All right. Number 2. Write a vertical motion model in the form of, now I got to tell you about this 0. This 0 is sometimes there to say starting at 0 seconds. So we don't need that. I don't want that little 0 to confuse you, but sometimes the book might have it. I'm not going to put it on a test or a quiz or a worksheet, but I just copied this from the book. So these 2 problems right here, I know they're numbered weird. The initial velocity is 32 feet. The height is 20. Write down the formula for this one. If the initial velocity is 32 and the height is 20, write down the formula. Plug in V and plug in H into the equation from up above. Plug in V and plug in H. This is number 2 where it says 5. Right here. Do that one. You're using the formula up above. basically that's what we're doing for every single problem after this. I will do this first one with you, this number 5, but all the rest you have to write formulas for. Somebody tell me, what did you get for number 5? You already helped me. Brand new person. Yeah, Adon.
I got negative 16 plus 32 t plus 1.
Yes. The height of an object thrown is negative 16t squared. I'm not going to mess this one up. Plus 32t plus 20. Good. And your job is to plug in velocity and height for these 5 rest of the problems. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to stop the video.